Today we journey to a very special place with a very special guest. Beyond the beep beeps and the boop boops of Portland, Oregon sits a graffiti sanctuary. One of the last places where we can still see these endangered species known as street artists up close in their natural habitat.
All right, so I'm out here at a wall near a town called Verona with local street artist Not Sick, and we're gonna go paint it up and do something cool.
Oh yeah. Look
I think this is lunch.
And hey,
This is Not Sick's partner CJ.
little sweetheart.
So
Okay.
yeah, we're going into the forest to a place called the Old Mill.
Yes.
Yes.
Verona Old Mill. Got a lot of graffiti there. It's super awesome.
Let's check it out.
So Not Sick came out last weekend and laid some base layers. It's always a bit of a gamble if your work will still be there when you come back. Not Sick is a Portland-based street artist known for their surreal, cartoony, creepy-crawly characters and clean lines. Keep an eye out when you're in the PNW because new Not Sicks are popping up all the time.
They got here at like apparently hella early in the morning. We brought like a 60-foot ladder and just fucking banged it out.
That's sick.
Had a great time.
Take me through a bit of the process. When you walk in here, it's 100% covered, so you have to cover somebody else's work.
Yeah, it's always really tricky. Unfortunately, you're probably gonna have to cover someone at some point. I personally, if I like know the artist, I don't cover them, or if you can tell if they spent a considerable amount of time on it, you know, you're not gonna wanna cover that. You know, like Asinine, they are great with the textures and things that they do, but again, you know, I'm not gonna wanna cover that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna wanna cap anyone, that shit just sucks. Be respectful as possible. Pano, I hate that they covered him.
Oh yeah, we're good.
This little edge of you see, just the fraction of it.
Yeah.
You know, I love his work too.
Yeah, me too.
But obviously it got covered. I know mine's gonna get covered. This is just the way.
Yeah. Okay, so you landed here.
Yes.
And you already set the base up, right? So
Yes.
this was one day's work?
Yeah. I just wanted to lay out down as much paint as possible so that, you know, when we're doing our thing and things like that, I'm just touching up.
Well, it's a good start. I already like it.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. And I tried to put whip on there and I was like, that'll maybe deter people from riding on it. Like, oh, it's not done yet. It kind of looks like it needs some polishing.
Work in process.
Work in progress, yes, exactly.
Want to just start breaking out the paints and I can keep asking you questions while we're working on
Yeah,
it?
sure, absolutely. I think it's the tree or the bird. I think it's the tree.
I think it's the tree.
Interesting.
Well, Not Sick, maybe start by telling me where or when and how you got into the street art world.
I think it's just being an angsty teenager, honestly.
Yeah.
I've always liked doing art my whole life, and realistically, I've kind of wanted an excuse to go out to do, you know, I guess not the most legal thing you can do. There's just so much canvas out there with all the cement and run down things, and it's like, why not? I want to make something cool. It's always awesome to me. And then also half the fun of just finding the spot or hiking or going in sewers or you know what I mean? Get a little dirty, not gonna lie.
Yeah. I think that's a big appeal to me as well. Is it because it's also the adventure to get there?
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
And
it really
picking
is.
the spot, and then also from then on, people around the city will see it and they might start to recognize you. Like now I recognize like several of the people just in this room.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think people started recognizing my first, I think it was on Broadway. Slowly but surely I get tags of people, you know, taking pictures with it, and that's just the coolest thing in the world.
From what I've seen, you pretty much have the same character in most things. Is that safe to say, or is it a
For the most part. Lately, I guess I've really been stuck on wolves and canines in general. I just think they look awesome. But I do bats. I really like creatures. The creepier ones tend to be kind of cool.
So would you say you go through like phases where you...
Definitely, 100%. When I moved to Portland, I noticed that everyone kind of has their own characters and things like that, and I kind of wanted to, you know, create a character that people could recognize as not sick or something like that. So, I mean, I went with the Wolfie, and that has been awesome. You know, I still want to branch out because I don't just want to be doing like the Wolfie, you know what I mean? I love it, but I have a drive to create weird creatures too.
That's a good point though. You want it to be recognizable.
Of course. I mean, I think that's just cool if you don't even have to sign it and people recognize it.
So what's the preparation process for something like this? How much time did you spend at home cooking up the design?
Believe it or not, I sketched it literally like 10 minutes before I put it up. I had a totally different design in my head. I'm like, you know what, I might as well go classic, and here we are.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm a very last minute person, it seems. I try and plan things, you know, if you think it's gonna work out or if not, and kind of just go from there. When it comes to actually like doing things in certain time periods per se, but.
Well, some of that could be, I think that certain artists are improvisational and they might not be super prepared, but they're just good at coming up with stuff in the moment. And
Yeah,
maybe
I mean, I like that.
Do you think that if you had a creative philosophy or a creative process, you would say it's a bit more in the moment, improvisational?
I mean, realistically, if you take the time to practice, yeah, improv is way easier, you know what I mean? And I kind of like that. I mean, now, of course, I'm in a stuck period where I can draw coyote skulls really cool. I can draw, you know, the certain few things that I have recently. Like, I'm confident with that because I've been overdoing it the past, you know, last year. But if it's like other things, or if I'm like trying something new, then yeah, I definitely try and plan that because I don't want to waste my time or the paint per se if it's just gonna look all over the place. I used to do that a lot as a kid, and that's, you know, yeah, you learn the hard way.
So you have instances of just trying to come up with it on the fly and fucking up?
Oh yeah, when I was, you know, younger, all of us kids would just buy some fucking shitty dollar cans and find a shitty spot, and you just, you know, yeah, it was poor planning. You'd never sketch anything. You'd just say, fuck it.
Do you think that's necessary to develop creativity, though, is the failure part?
Failure definitely is useful, yeah. I think, I mean, I guess, yeah, since I've been doing this my whole life, I feel like I've failed enough. So I'm trying to do everything to prevent that now. So, you know, it's good to try new things and fuck up. I do that all the time still. You're not gonna learn if you don't try, you know?
Yeah. So what do you do to mix it up, to get yourself out of a rut and to start thinking differently?
Honestly, I kind of just try and pick up a new art style if I'm in a rut. Like, I'll pick up clay, or I'll go out with acrylic again, or maybe I'll fuck around with pastel. I haven't done that shit yet, but you know what I mean? Like, there's so many materials and things to create with, and I already have the ideas for the most part, so it's just, if you can get your hands on the materials, I feel like that ultimately helps me get out of it too, because, I mean, maybe it's my ADHD, I don't know, but I love creating a bunch of different things.
So it's almost like you give yourself a new obstacle.
Yeah, I mean, that surely distracts you from your previous problem if you're focusing on a new one. I can't imagine a world where I couldn't express these weird ideas in my head. I would hate it. You just need to say fuck it and express yourself. Therapy, unfortunately, is not accessible for everyone per se, but you know, in a sense, this is a sort of therapy. It gets you out of your bullshit and into this, in the moment. That's what I like about it.
How has your
Art like evolved and changed over the years? Like, where did it start and where is it now? And like, what realizations have you come to that shifted it?
I mean, when I was younger, I was very inspired by my own father. He's been doing art his whole life, so I've had him talking down my ear constantly. But when I was younger, I used to be very inspired by like Alex Pardee, artists like that, and I noticed that I was trying to like, I noticed my art was going a lot in their style's direction versus my own style's direction. So I tried to lean away from, you know, getting inspired by like particular artists and started, you know, mix and matching things that I thought looked good together and things like that. And I guess eventually it just kind of turned into whatever the hell this is. It's definitely evolved quite a bit. Like,
So it sounds like it went from being following the footsteps of another artist to combining inspirations to be
'cause-
just your own.
exactly, because I mean, when we're all young, no one knows who the hell they are. You know, we're all figuring that shit out. And I mean, you know, if you can find the proper guidance or someone to look up to, things like that, it is lovely. But you know, eventually you got to find your own way. You got to find your own style.
It seems like there's a parallel in art and just being a human being.
Oh,
and how
completely.
you express yourself as a human takes a little while to figure out as well.
Well, of course, yeah. We're all life is tricky enough as it is. We're all trying to figure that shit out. And I mean, if you can find ways to express yourself in ways that make you happy,
Yeah.
then that's kind of all that matters.